Jonathan, I got to know, how do you become an angel?
Well, there are lots of factors, but a key one is how you love yourself.
Okay, I'm wondering about that because to overgeneralize, religion says loving yourself is bad. Spirituality says loving yourself is the greatest. It's the most important thing. You got to do it. So which one of those is right?
They both are.
And that's what we're going to find out today. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Swedenborgian Life podcast. Man, we're glad you're watching us today. So excited to talk with Dr. Jonathan Rose. Hey Jonathan.
Hey Curtis.
We're going to look today at how to become an angel and the role that self-love and self-care plays in that, which is a deep mystery to unpack. Before we get there, I got an exciting announcement. You know these books we read from, Swedenborg's books? We got a brand new translation of Volume 10 of Secrets of Heaven coming out. Go to Swedenborg.com. You can pick up your copy. This book, I'm telling you, all proceeds benefit the not-for-profit Swedenborg Foundation. Your team has worked hard on this. There's a amazing spiritual wisdom in these things. Changed my life, and you don't have to take my word for it because a lot of the material we're reading today comes right from this. So if you want the full thing, and there's so much more than we go over here, go to Swedenborg.com, Secrets of Heaven, Volume 10. Come on, man. That's an exciting day. Thank you. Yeah.
Tell you, Volume 9 and Volume 10 are some of my favorites. I'm up working in Volume 14. No shade to 14. But 9 and 10, I mean 8, 9, 10. Oh, so good.
Really good stuff. Okay. All right. So I'm excited then to delve into it. And we got to tackle this concept of self-love. So
this is so important.
To become an angel. And yes, if you're not familiar with Swedenborg, the point of your life is to become an angel. Becoming an angel is a certain state of mind or state of being or state of life that you can reach in this world or in the afterlife.
Yeah.
And the way to get there, one of the ways to get there is to have the things that you love be in the right priority.
That's right. And Swedenborg talks about there being three heavenly loves. There's three loves. One is love of heaven, which is really sort of love of God and love of the neighbor wrapped in together.
Yep.
And then love of the world, and then love of self. And he says when they're in the right order, they perfect you. But a lot of mayhem comes when they're in the wrong order.
So we want you to we want to fast track you to becoming an angel, because becoming an angel is good for two reasons. One, it'll make you happy.
That's right.
There's actually no real happiness apart from this angelic happiness. That's the happiness human race was made for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's the real happiness as opposed to all these other brands that are out there.
Yeah, the come and go, the transient kinds. And then also, the rest of the human race, we would love for you to become an angel, because angels, when you love everyone, when you get into that state where God is like coming right into you, then you're a great gift to the human race because you can help the rest of us in all kinds of ways and stuff.
Who in any situation in life, wouldn't you rather have an angel on the other side of that desk, or
that's right,
bringing your tea or whatever it is? Like there's nowhere you don't want an angel, is there?
And you've met people like that, and this very much continues. And then we'll get right to it. But it very much continues into the actual afterlife, where Swedenborg met and talked with people who are angels like you would. There's no, this is a metaphor for, they're just like glowing with light and love, and they can say things in a second that would take us hours to say. They can move mountains. They can do these incredible things. Yeah, that we need as many of those as possible.
Yeah.
To help the human race. You can be on Team Angel. You just got to do this kind of stuff, right? This is a key component of that. So if you read Swedenborg at all, he just seems to really hammer in a negative sense on self-love. He'll say,
comes up a lot.
Oh man, he'll say like our love for ourself is the devil, and it is the thing that gets in the way of heaven and God, right? I mean, he goes at it.
Yeah. There's a thing in the epistles that the love of money is the root of all evil. Swedenborg say, it's really self-love is like so many other evil, savagery, cruelty, there's a lot of different evils come from this when it's dominant, like if that's what you live for.
I think that's the distinction. So if yourself is the point of your life, then it's no longer like, oh, pat yourself on the back. It becomes controlling, narcissistic,
manipulative. Yeah.
But, and everybody knows that. Everybody's seen people like that who are completely self-focused and the damage that causes.
Yeah.
But in its proper role, where it's supposed to be, love for yourself and care for yourself are an indispensable part of the command to love your neighbor.
Yeah, you can't do any of this without a self, and your relationship to that self is really vital. You
guys got to understand this. This is so important to get this right.
I'm very happy we're talking about this.
This is from Secrets of Heaven 6934, which is in that book. Here is how to understand the idea that we are each our own neighbor and that we ought to consider our own interests first. Because love your neighbor, okay, well, as yourself.
It starts with
we must each make sure first that we have the necessities of life.
First.
Yeah. Food,
that's right.
Clothing, shelter, and other basic requirements of the culture we live in. We must secure these not only for ourselves, but also for our loved ones. Not just for the present moment, but also for the future. Unless we obtain the necessities of life, we are not in a position to exercise love toward our neighbor.
Oh.
No, we are in need of everything.
And there's the connection. There's a connection between loving your neighbor and how you relate to yourself. Because I heard that word first in there. You've got to take care of those things first, because you're no good to somebody. You know, if I show up to your house and I say, oh, do you have like a toothbrush or something? And can I get I'm not able to do you a whole lot of good if I need just the most basic things that you shouldn't have to supply me. I should supply those to myself.
Oxygen masks in the airplane. If you go into the airplane,
they always tell you.
The airplane, any airplane you go into, they say, in the event of a loss of cabin pressure, first secure your own mask and then turn to the person next to you. Even if you're a mom and the person next to you is your child,
your beloved
and you
child.
love this child, put your own mask on first.
Yeah.
Why? Because if you don't, you aren't going to be able to help them.
If you pass out, it's worse for them. And there's a model of this. I thought about this a while ago, that the first thing the heart does is pump blood to itself. That's the first thing it does.
Oh, interesting.
That coronary artery. And that's why it's so bad to have a heart attack, because the first thing it does is pump blood to itself. Then once it's taken care of that, then I can help everybody else in the body. And the heart is very selfless, but job one, gotta get the blood to yourself. And if that's not happening, that's called a heart attack,
Yeah.
So that kind of self-care on the part of the heart is fundamental to your well-being.
Which, by the way, if you ever want to know how anything spiritual works, just look at the human body.
That's it.
This is one of the great insights that Swedenborg got when he started his spiritual journeys, is that
it's incredible.
It doesn't have to be, this is theoretical, or this just happens in a world in another dimension, a spiritual
take
dimension.
Take my word for it or something.
Take my word for it. That you're walking around inside the divine design. So everything that we say in all these shows, and Swedenborg is saying in his books and everything, you can find that laid out in the human body. So there you have this great example of, the heart is a symbol for the love that makes up who you are. And the first thing it has to do, it's got to feed itself. That's not the point of the heart.
That's not the point.
But it takes care of that.
But if that's missing,
that's it.
It can't take care of the kid next to you on the plane. Yeah.
So you've got to provide for yourself. You've got to try to have your external life in shape. But that's not just, it's not just physical. You got to take care of your well-being, and I would say your happiness. You got to take care of your happiness.
That's setting a higher bar than just sort of necessities like soap and a towel or something.
Because the soul lives on goodness and truth, which is things that make you feel good. Like there is like a a nutritional need in the spirit for this kind of stuff. This is from Secrets of Heaven 678. Because the human soul lives on goodness and pleasure and sustains itself by means of them, they are called food. They actually are food, since the soul could never survive without them, as anyone who is willing to pay attention can see.
Whoa, that's really, really interesting, because I think about the long history in Christianity, but also in other religions of asceticism, or however you pronounce it. You know, the idea that really the holy way is to deprive yourself, and various different people have different lists of no dancing, or no playing cards, or no movies, or no this or that. So it's very interesting that he's got pleasure in that list, because pleasures, there's a strong theme in Christianity of being quite wary of, why are you doing that? Oh, just for pleasure.
Yeah.
Really? That's no, you should have some purpose outside of self.
Joy is spiritual food. And yes, you have to be careful what kind of food you're eating.
Yeah.
There's things you can eat that are bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have to find happiness, find things that you love and that make you happy, because that sustains your spirit. And you need your spirit to be able to go out and do what's good.
Yeah, and there are different kinds of food for our minds, obviously, just as there are different kinds of food for our bodies. And I think as a culture, we think a lot about what we're eating and being careful about this and that. But I don't know if as much attention is paid to, but what are you looking at on your phone, or what are like how is that affecting your mind and heart?
This is something that we said is reflected in the way the body is. It's also reflected, according to Swedenborg, in the Bible. So on this, you guys just started putting this thing here that says like biblical commentary. Like just so you understand, when he's talking in all these books about all this stuff, this is the unpacking what's alive in the symbolism of the Bible. And I say that because this next number is talking about whenever in the Bible it talks about being hungry.
Oh.
It is talking about this kind of spiritual nourishment. It's not really concerned with food. So this is 4, 9, 5, 8. Being hungry, what is it to be spiritually hungry? Means longing for goodness with genuine desire. Because in an inner sense, bread means good done out of love and charity. And food in general means what is good. Being thirsty means longing for truth with genuine desire, because wine and water mean the truth that leads to faith.
There's something really mind-boggling in there, because if I heard that right, you think of food, obviously, as something that you take and, you put it in your mouth, you eat it, you digest it. So it's something, I'm going to take this from out in the world there, and I'm going to incorporate this into myself. And yet the spiritual example that he gave was the doing of good to someone else. That's what feeds you.
Well, I was going to say,
it feeds you to so that doing is spiritual nourishment. We've all experienced that. It feels great. Yeah, I mean, it just feels great when you do those. Often it can lift you right out of whatever mood you're in or whatever. So it's great.
we use that phrase, that fed me.
Yeah.
Well, and there's all kinds of studies on the way that being useful affects your psychological well-being. So that is like getting enough food, getting enough good food.
Yeah.
So that's important. Then jumping up to Secrets of Heaven 10:730. And this is so cool. This is so great. It is also an all-embracing reality that a person should be joined to the Lord, which is effected through regeneration, bringing him peace and safety.
Wow. Things devoutly to be wished.
What's the point of religion? It's to get you peace and safety. Yes, you're being the Lord is selfless. The point is to be thinking about the welfare of the human race, but also the divine intent for us as we go through these processes, particularly the process of regeneration, which is the process of becoming an angel, the rebirth process, bringing peace and safety. That's what happens as you grow closer to God. Peace and safety.
Wow, nice.
Okay, so loving self is good. However, it's not always good. And the easy way to tell, there's a simple litmus test for when is my love of myself great and when is my love of myself a problem. And the test is, what is your overall goal? To what end are you doing that?
I'm picturing a test like those take-home tests that you get where you do 3 drops of this in
COVID
here.
test.
In the spiritual world, is there some test that goes, am I being selfless here, or is this really, am I really being self-centered?
Here we go. Secrets of Heaven 6935. Our ultimate goal makes a statement about the kind of neighbor we are going to be to ourselves and about the way we are going to see our own interests first.
That's such a mind-boggling phrase. The kind of neighbor we're going to be to our... I mean, that's very interesting.
So,
and although I don't... How do you figure out what your ultimate goal is? But that's what shapes it.
It continues. If our goal is to become richer than others, purely for the sake of riches or self-indulgence or prominence and so on, the goal is bad. People who believe they are being their own neighbor with this kind of motivation then are hurting themselves to eternity.
Ouch.
However, if our goal is to acquire financial resources for the sake of life's necessities for ourselves and our loved ones, to put ourselves in a position to do good, as teachings on neighborly love command, we are seeing to our interests for eternity. The purpose itself makes our identity, because it is the same as our love. What we love is what we adopt as our goal. So I get that. I get what he's talking about. So the first, everybody wouldn't mind having a little more cash, pretty much. There's so many things you can do with money that are nice and so helpful. And the pursuit of money, right, is something that people will go and do. There's 2 categories of reasons why you can be doing it, because it feels good to have it come in and whatever.
And when you see the number go up, it's like, hey,
that's so
making
great.
progress. Yeah.
But why are you doing it? The first category is, if the goal is to become richer than others purely for the sake of riches or self-indulgence or prominence, then the goal is bad. So prominence, what's prominence? That is like, I consider myself and am considered by others to be superior to other people. That's that. Then,
right. And also, I think, because it's often on Swedenborg's mind of getting into political office, because it often is, wealth often helps you.
Yeah. Then riches or self-indulgence. So riches would just be, there's no use in it. I just want it. Self-indulgence, Okay, so all of those are
if I had enough money, I'd have
purely
wild parties.
Self-focused. But then the other side is, if you're doing it because I need to take care of myself, there's people who depend on me, and also I want to be able to affect society in a certain good way, then the goal is good. Then you're being a good. So here it is, everybody. Love yourself, take care of yourself, do things for yourself as much as you possibly want. However, that shouldn't be where the road ends.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this for myself? Because ultimately, the self I want to be is one that is serving the good.
Yeah, it's just wonderful clarity, isn't it? And so it gets it away from this kind of more traditional polarity of it's bad. It is bad. Money's bad or pleasure's bad.
Yes.
It gets it out of that realm.
You are bad.
Swedenborg so often, yes, and you're bad if that's what... If you're rich, you're automatically, a bad person or something like that.
Right.
And no, it's Swedenborg. I love how he gets it to what was your purpose behind, what do you, it still comes back to what do you love? So you've got money. What do you love? So you don't have it. What do you want? What's your intention?
Yeah, and I think there's a pairing of that with a sense that the Lord is in control, or that accepting the dispensations of providence.
Yeah.
I think that's a key component, because I think about, there's that number that's sort of a famous Swedenborg number about that people who are in the stream of providence, if they get raised up to positions of wealth, they're there for it, but they do not consider themselves better than others,
and they don't set their heart on it.
Yeah, right. And if they're lowered to less prominent positions, less wealth, they don't consider themselves less worthy than other people. They know that God puts things, directs towards a happy state to eternity.
Whatever's useful. And yeah.
So if let's say that I were somebody and I was thinking, I want to raise a bunch of money because I want to do this thing that's good. Probably the most angelic, how would an angel approach that? Like, yeah, go for it. Try hard for that. If it's not happening, thy will be done.
Thy will be done.
Okay, I'm not going to get bent all in shape about it. Like, I'll try, but I'll also kind of listen to I'll read the room and see what's God doing here.
I think sometimes about, I don't know what the psychology was, and obviously there's no way to ask them in this world, but back in 1929, stock market crash and all that stuff, people were jumping out of windows, and wow, I get it, but if your entire identity is wrapped up in that portfolio and that number that you've got, and then you watch that number go to nothing, then it's like, I have failed catastrophically. My life is not worth living because I don't have that anymore. I'm trying to imagine what that's like, but it's always just kind of amazed me to think about, the ticker tape comes in and then you go, I can't live anymore.
Well, so the angelic mindset is that ultimately this life I'm living is not my life. It's God's life.
Yeah.
That if God wasn't sending this life into me all the time, I wouldn't exist. Swedenborg makes the astonishing claim that life doesn't originate in us.
Yeah.
Like, we receive life from God, but the fact that you're alive this next second, that was brought to you by God.
It was independent of getting ready for this show, but this morning when I was walking down the stairs, I was thinking, I have no idea how I balance. Like, I don't know what my body's doing when it balances walks down the stairs. Something you just take for granted, something you do, thousands of times every day. And but I was thinking, this is kind of a miracle.
There's a couple, there's a couple ways you can see it.
There's miraculous stuff going on all the time.
You can see that. You can see that. So there's this concept that seems counterintuitive and impossible that actually, life is not, you think, this is my life, I'm doing this, but it's actually God's life that's in you. There's a couple ways that you can kind of see that. One is, that you mentioned, is a great one, is that your life, everybody agrees, to have life in the physical world, you got to have a functioning body. Man, you do not know nothing about what's going on with that.
You don't know.
And even if you think you know a little bit, you sure aren't doing it. And you're like, right now I'm breathing. And that oxygen is doing a bunch of stuff inside me. Bunch of really complicated stuff. I don't know where it is right now. I don't know what part of me needs some more. I don't know what is it going through into cells right now. I learned some things in biology classes and stuff, but I wouldn't have known that myself. I would have just kept living before I learned any of that stuff. Those processes were happening. It happens at night when I sleep. I don't know how I'm digesting things. You just so obviously, there's an involuntary that is doing, it is so much more complex than you.
Knows things that you have no idea about.
Yeah.
That's right. And is managing things. All of a sudden in the 3 a.m, you get a cramp in one calf or something like that. Well, you have no idea why that's happening. You consciously,
or how it resolves.
What is this? I don't know what's going on. But
yeah,
your body's trying to take care of something. It's dealing with something. And
so that's one way that you can tell. Like, wait a second.
Yeah.
This is the Lord's life. It's not my life.
Because if it was your life, you would know how to fix
Yeah.
Right? If you were the owner, wouldn't you know how to fix this body that you're wearing?
Right. And then the other one is like, you weren't even your own idea. You didn't know you just suddenly were alive. this is before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, kind of.
Yeah.
That okay, this must be, and that why we can sit here and say, why is there something rather than nothing? But we didn't like make it up that there is something. This is like you the illusion that this is my thing I'm running is strong. But if you just step back and look at some things, like it's pretty obvious that we're sponsored. We're being sponsored to be here.
Yeah, that's right. And I think I know there's a few people who think that before you were born, you made a choice about what sort of person to be, and then you've forgotten that choice or something. But I don't think I chose to exist. I think I just existed, and I existed before I realized that I was existing. And you know, so those are pretty fundamental things not to have much information or choice about.
Even people who think that, though, I mean, they'll because that would be generally people who believe in multiple incarnations in the world, but that's just kind of pushing it back, because when did you start being this oversoul kind of, and how does that work? So you're still not in on all that stuff.
That's true. You're just kicking the can down the road.
Although Swedenborg seems to indicate, no, this is life starts here.
Right.
You started when you were a kid. You go forever, but that's really when you started.
And it would be kind of terrifying if there weren't this beneficent higher power that's behind the whole thing, and then said, yes, I want you to exist, and I'll take care of your body. I'll give you a fever when you need a fever, and I'll take this away when
it would be terrifying, but you couldn't have. I think that's sort of the message that you can get in your mind of like, think if there was no God, and like how scary that would be. But none of this could be as structured as it is, and we couldn't be like we are without that. So it's like you taking the chicken before the egg or whatever. Like, no, you couldn't have a this without God. Like this is downstream from that.
Yeah.
If you're enjoying this show, I mean, you made it pretty deep into the show if you're watching this ad. If you like this and you're wondering, how can I help this keep going and help it spread to more people so they can get some benefit out of it, there's an easy way to do that. Just make a donation. We have in the link in the description, there's a link. Any donation size helps us a ton. The price of a coffee, maybe you can send it our way. Click that link, help the Swedenborg Foundation produce content like this that we think can change the world. Thanks. Okay, cool. So we're talking about like what's the blueprint for angelic life? What's the mode of living? What does a person look like? What's the good life?
What are they like? Yeah.
What are they like?
Yeah.
Like isn't that the whole thing behind Masterclass? Where you have somebody who's really great at what they do, and they'll teach you things. You sign up and they teach you things, but really you're just getting a chance to kind of see them and how they approach it and how they do it, because you learn a lot from that. You just want to see what's it like. If you made it, what's it like? What are your habits like? So this is that for the angelic life, for the life that we're meant to be in. So that's cool. That's exciting. It also can be a little confusing. So let's do another analogy.
Okay.
To clarify it. The situation that's what Swedenborg said. The situation can be further clarified by the following analogy. We should all look out for our body by providing it with food and clothing. And everything else. Okay, there you go.
Sure.
This has to come first, but the goal must be a healthy mind and a healthy body. And we should also look out for our mind by providing it with food. That is, with ideas that nourish understanding and wisdom, so that, it will be in a position to serve the Lord.
Aha. So that's not an end in itself either. It's like, I took care of my body so that I could take care of my mind, and all I wanted was to have a good mind. Oh, no, that mind is for serving.
I mean, hang on for a second. What's the point of your mind? Why do you have a mind? You got one. It's like, why you
it can get in the way sometimes.
You know why you have a liver.
Yeah.
What's the point of the liver? I don't even know. It's to purify stuff. Oh, it makes bile.
That's right.
Okay, but let's pick something that we do know. You got a stomach.
Stores glycogen.
You got a stomach. What's the point of your stomach? Digesting food. It's to start the process of turning food into something your body can use.
Yeah.
So you know what your stomach is for. It's to keep your body nourished. That's what it's for. What's your mind for?
Why do you have a mind? Because sometimes when you're awake in the middle of the night or whatever it is, your mind is driving you nuts, I mean, it seems like, why do I can't shut this off,
Why do you have a mind?
Yeah.
Here he says, to serve the Lord. That's the point. So have a healthy body so that your mind can be right. What's the point of your mind? To serve the Lord. And to serve the Lord means what's the Lord? So the Lord is God, and the way Swedenborg describes God is a lot like the sort of in the near-death experiences, being in the light. This is something that has just a ton of love for everyone. You've never heard a story of somebody getting close to God in the near-death experience, and God's like, whoa, let me flip through my pages here. Who were you again? It's just like right away, I know you, which is crazy thinking about how many people there are. But I know you.
It'll overwhelm you if you think about it hard.
I love you in particular. I've been thinking about you.
Yeah.
So that's what God is. And God is also has the plans. Like has the plans to, we're going to execute this. It's sort of the ultimate executive. The plan is we want everyone to be happy, everyone to be angels and everyone to be happy, right? So God is this huge, I'm just trying to lay out for myself, what do you mean serve the Lord? Because that can just sound like a religious phrase and then you don't know. But if it is to serve the great good, because that's what God is the love for everyone and the means of trying to get everyone into this state of happiness.
Because it almost automatically goes over into the category of the neighbor.
Yeah.
When you try to really, really think about who the Lord is and what you do to love the Lord. Well, it goes right into the neighbor, doesn't it? Into
what
community.
Do you get the Lord for Christmas? What is he doesn't want anything except for, I want this person to be happy. I want this person to be happy. I want this person to be happy. So, but that, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's this. I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. But the idea that the mind, the point of the mind is so that it'll be in a position to serve the Lord.
I don't know. That strikes me as in a new way.
And I just see myself as like, I'm one little drill bit in this big old box of drill bits that God has, because he's got to build this important swing set.
Sometimes you need that one that's just 30 seconds,
And I'm like, I'm here, and the fact that I'm here with my mind in its healthy shape means that when he needs to make, his toolbox is increased.
Yeah.
Everybody who starts doing this angel thing, you're an extra widget that makes it so, believe it or not, so that God can be more effective in doing what he wants to do. Isn't that true?
Absolutely true. I don't know anybody who works with tools. I know some people who might be partners of somebody who works with tools who thinks they should have less tools. But I don't know anybody who actually has that kind of gear, who thinks I need fewer things. There's always another gadget that they've just invented a thing that does this and that.
Yeah. It's okay. So that's the position to serve. And I sort of picture it a little bit as like, all right, I'm here to be called on, because the Lord knows what he's doing and we don't really, in the big picture. We don't know exactly where our lives are going to go. We don't know exactly how we're supposed to be helping. We don't know exactly who we are going to be in the future, or what the future holds, or what kind of angel we will be in the afterlife. And that is not a bug, it's a feature that you're not allowed to. And once you get to be an angel, which we talked about last episode, you don't want to know what's going to happen, because you don't want to mess up the plan. You need to be pliable. So in a position to serve, it's like, okay, reporting for duty. Like that's what your mind is meant to be, is I got it all, so I'm like cleaning my own instrument and polishing it so I can be like reporting for duty.
Yeah. And it's making me think about the intentions, how important it is to form an intention or to think of a purpose and all that. And the fact is that we're incapable, if you have a goal of like the world peace or something, well, we don't know how to do that. But the amazing thing is that I always picture a parent with a child with a basketball, and the child is way too small, or whatever. But you can see they want to get it through the basket.
Yes.
And so the adult goes, and carries the ball up and puts it through the basket for them. And then they're both rejoicing. And I think the Lord plays that role a lot. I think of the important thing was that we formed that intention. We actually have no idea how to do it, and we don't have the capability of achieving that. But it's good to form those purposes, and the Lord will help you make the basket.
Well, man, you were the one who started with the human body analogies. So this is like, I'm not held liable for continuing to
No, that's on me.
So any individual cell in the body is very weak. You think about even the most...
Some little squishy thing like this.
You think about a muscle cell. You couldn't even see it, couldn't move anything. And yet, a bunch of them together can do incredible things. Any immune cell, like one little T cell or something, can't stop. But a bunch of them together can. And that's how the body does what it needs to do, is it marshals. It has all these different kinds of cells that are all specialized and doing their thing in their own position. And as it has need of them, it marshals those forces and goes and does whatever it needs to do. That's, I think, sort of what it is. Like all of us little humans are like little cells. We get in a position where when the divine plan has need of us, it's like, okay, good. I've got 3 of these things in this quadrant. You come over here.
And it's what you're saying is making me think in a different way about this, that if I picture myself being, a muscle cell, you have your own concerns of like, I need more salt. So it's the bloodstream. If you got enough, I need some more fat or whatever it is, and it is taking in substances from the bloodstream, and it's casting off waste, and it's just managing its own affairs. But that's only a small part of when the signal comes in from headquarters that says we want to do this,
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all these muscles have to work together to do that. And you hardly even know what the big picture is. You just, okay, I'm going to contract right now.
That's right.
Right?
No, that's exactly.
And so you so that self part is like, just maintain your, okay, keep your little thing working. But the whole point is so that you're ready when that signal comes in.
I hate to say it, but I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good, because, and I don't think I know quite enough about biology to be certain when I'm saying this, but I'm 80% certain that, what you're talking about is the life of a cell. So a muscle cell is that you're sitting there as a muscle cell and doing all this stuff. I don't know, like you got your mitochondria and different parts of you that are doing whatever they need to do.
Conversions that are going on in there.
You're absorbing something, and you're sitting there ready, and then whatever those neurotransmitters have fired, and then it's time to contract, and you do it. It's exactly in a position to serve the Lord. Like I'm humming all day and preparing myself so that I'm in a position. And you're contracting many times a day. It's not like you wait 7 years and then it happens. Like you're doing that. You keep yourself in a fit state to do it. That's, dude.
I like that. And there's some line in the epistles that I'll mangle. It's something about fit for the master's use. There's something about, it's sort of looking at us as tools or instruments fit for the master's use. I love that idea. Yeah. What a great thing.
Well, and that is, as soon as you get outside yourself, you see the obvious truth of it. Like if you are, somebody who you can't walk, you're missing, your leg doesn't work, and all the people out there who are working on prosthetics and neuro implants or something that could give you a chance to walk again, of course, you're just looking at them all to serve the good. Right? You're not thinking about the individual egos of the people and who gets what award or whatever. You're just waiting on, can you please, with this ingenious apparatus of modern technology and all that, can you guys figure out a way to do this for me? And so obviously that's what we're for. That's what we're for, is the impact that we can have on people. That's what it is. To have self at the top, and like how much was I praised and recognized and wealthy from people, it doesn't matter at all to the person who's sitting there and waiting to be able to walk again. It's for the use. Like, this is common sense, man.
Yeah. It's like the muscle cell saying, I'm not going to contract. I just had my mitochondria done.
Or it's like I'm going to contract harder than I need to so that Carl over there, I beat him in the country, and then you mess up it's like so dumb.
Yeah, because I noticed that line in that earlier quote that you had about richer than others. Like the than others is a really crucial piece. And maybe they don't have much, but you just want to beat them. There's
an Indian, I think it's an Indian proverb that I was told once, which is like there was two shopkeepers on a street, and they had become bitter rivals because they're both trying to sell the same sort of stuff, and so they just really animosity built up. They really hate each other. One day, one of the shopkeepers, his new goods come in, and there's this lamp there, and he rubs it, and sure enough, a genie comes out of the lamp and says, "I will grant you any wish that you want." And he's like, "That's so amazing, great. What's the cost? What's the catch?" He says, "No catch. You can have anything you want." Well, I mean, there's sort of a catch, which is whatever you get, I'm going to give 2 of to the shopkeeper across the street. And so the shopkeeper thinks about it for a while, and he says,
"Oh, you got to think about it."
And he says, "I want you to blind me in one eye." Like that's the insanity. That's the insanity of the love of self out of control, which because it has such a desire to be greater than, and from that stems everything like jealousy and it like here you are with an opportunity to get something great, and what you want to do is go through life half blind so that your enemy will be. That's the insanity of it.
That is insanity.
So I obviously it's a fictional story, but I think it does illustrate something that hits home pretty clearly. Is like that's the priorities that we're talking about. Like that's priority, because you could have given yourself incredible amount of business and just know that the person next door is going to have twice as much, and then it's all a win-win, right? It's great. Okay,
but it's so important to you to be ahead of the other person that you've got to think of something that's going to be a minus, and then so you're both hurt. Yeah, it's the futility of it.
This is what it is to be an angel. This is the difference between us who want. You just can't help it. We're still, still kids, cosmically speaking. Yeah. And we want to be better than. We have people that we're jealous of, or we have, recognition that we want. And so, it'd be like, oh gosh, well, I can't really be happy if my arch enemy was twice as happy as me. For angels,
what a nightmare.
And it would ruin everything. But this is like, there's those phrases in the Bible like, my thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. And also I love the light shined in the darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it. Angels are more want other people to be happier than they are.
Yes, that's right.
For an angel, if that same genie showed up and it was like, I'll give you something and I'm going to give twice of that to that guy across the street, the angel is like, yes.
This is so great.
Because
I can't believe this is so great.
Because that's more true. Because that person is a person too, and their joy, they will feel that joy and they'll be happy in their consciousness. It doesn't make any sense to be happy for someone else's suffering. You have a grudge, and so that makes you think that makes sense, but it actually does. It's just crazy because they're just a point of consciousness like you are, and suffering is suffering, no matter who it happens to. So that's the angelic mind, man. That's so.
That's great.
Okay, we got to go back to this quote, but this man, what a phrase.
The purpose of the mind. I love that.
The purpose of the mind.
That's some great insight right there.
People are like, why are you just embarrassing yourself doing Swedenborg stuff on the internet like this? That's what people would say if anyone was talking about it. Why are you doing that? This is why, man. That is such a good. I'm not saying you can't find that idea in other places than Swedenborg. Great. However, that's a really potent delivery system for me. What we just read there. Like that. Okay, that clarifies for me what's the point of me. What's the point of me? I got to be in position to serve the Lord. I mean, that's cool. And if people uptake that, you're going to have a good human race. If we do this, continuing on, if we do this, we take good eternal care of ourselves.
Okay.
I forgot what we were talking about.
And this idea is pretty potent, of the idea of taking, like, caring for yourself badly on an eternal scale. That's a pretty heavy, as opposed to providing well for yourself, taking good care of yourself forever. Yeah.
This is about, sure, take care of yourself, but take good care of yourself.
Yeah. Do a good job.
Right. Because you could say, let's say somebody's struggling with depression and they're just really like, I don't want to get out of bed, and I've been there. And you think, well, I just want to take care of myself, so I'm gonna eat junk food and I'm gonna lay here.
Yes.
And that's
right. I'll scroll on my phone. Right.
Whatever. Because I just want to take care of myself. You could be a good friend to that person, and say like, that's not taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to get you where you want to go. So should you love yourself? Should you care for yourself? You sure should.
Yeah.
However, there's different ways.
There are different ways.
If you think, oh, I'm going to love myself, so I'm going to try to do things that make my sense of superiority to other people happy, or my sense of indulgence happy because those things feel good.
Right.
It's not like deadly toxin. You can, overall though, that's not leading you to happiness. However, to say like, oh yeah, I want to be really healthy and I want to have good ideas and things in my mind, and I want to get my body feeling good, my mind feeling good, so that I'll be in a position to serve the greater good, or serve the Lord, is the same thing. Mm-hmm. Then that's loving yourself. That's really loving yourself, because that's doing good to yourself. It's going to last and going to build a happier you.
Yeah.
It's
like saving and investing for retirement or something like that. And then you get to that phase and it's like, wow, I'm glad I took care of this. I'm in a good situation now.
Suppose though that we look out for our body for its own sake and fail to consider the health of our mind, supplying our mind with food that undermines rather than nourishes understanding and wisdom. If we do, we take poor eternal care of ourselves. This example shows in what way we ought to each be neighbor to ourselves. Not first of all, but last, because we must have not ourselves, but others as our ultimate purpose. Where our purpose is, there is our first priority.
Okay, purpose and priority, right. And what's striking me about that is that even giving all these teachings from Swedenborg and other religions, the idea of an afterlife and so on, you could think, well, I've only got this raggy body for a few years, or what's the matter? It doesn't matter how you treat yourself. But Swedenborg is saying, no, there's an eternal consequence to how you take care of this temporary thing called your body. I mean, that's kind of a mind blower, isn't it?
To why? What's the purpose? Because people can get all caught up in like, oh, am I like I have to be super healthy all the time, or else I'm doing something.
Oh, sure.
The point is that you want to try to the extent that you can, be in a state where you can effectively serve the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that. That's it. It's like both. Yeah. Don't like discount the body, but don't get all obsessed with it. It's like this thing is the rocket booster that gets you out of the atmosphere. It's to get your mind to the place where your mind, and what's the point of your mind? You don't got you just get it to the point where you can respond to whatever call you think you're getting to do what's good and true. You know?
Yeah, where you're in a condition to be able to follow through on that. And it's so much about the those priorities and the goals. It's such an interesting way of looking at it.
It's like I don't see what's not common sense here.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Nothing feels like it's trying to be too much guru-y. Nothing feels too harsh and John Wesley, like sinners in the hands of an angry God. Nothing feels too like, just sit here with your blanket and you just exist to soothe yourself. It all seems like, should you love yourself or should you not? You should love yourself. Go like crazy. You should take care of yourself. However, you cannot have yourself that's not the point of your life. It's an important thing, but yourself is not made to be an inward looking thing. It's made to be something that you will gain the happiness and everything you're looking for through doing service to others. It's just how the human body works. Every cell in there is taking care of itself. None of those cells look to themselves as an end. They all are serving the purpose of the body, and the body is the thing that allows them all to exist.
Yeah. And the example you gave before of, like, you can even see there are layers in the self. So yes, there's a part of probably everybody, most people, that would love to just, look, I want to eat what I want to eat as much as I want to eat. I want to lie around in bed all day. I don't want to have any responsibility. I want to watch entertaining stuff. That's what I want to do with my life. So it's almost internally in yourself. It's sort of like that show we did recently about the different parts. That there needs to be another part that goes, oh, but hey, guess what? Like even after you have surgery, they want you to very quickly to get up and start moving around now. They used to let people lie there, and there is, oh, it's not so great to lie there. It's not good for you. It's better for you to get up. And here, blow into this thing because we want to increase your lung capacity because we don't want you getting embolisms or whatever. And so there's things that you do that when you first do it, nothing in you after you've had surgery, you do not want to get out of bed. That's not what you want to do. But after you've done it for a couple of days, you start to enjoy it, and you're getting to see different people in the hospital, and you're walking around the halls and everything. And so even within your own self, there's sort of like, well, which part of me wants to just eat Doritos until I explode? and which is the part that says, well, no, actually, I'll be happier if I eat something that doesn't, whack my blood sugar out.
Yeah. Okay. So to uncover the spirit behind it. First of all, what you described, going and eating all that junk food and laying in bed, it may be at some point in your life you need to do that for 5 days.
Sure.
You need a staycation, you got to do it.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Right.
However, long term, if doing that would make you happy long term, then the Lord would be like, yeah, just do that.
Yeah.
And this and us and everything would be like, yeah, do that. The only reason why there would be any advice against that is because that's not going to lead you to the happiness you think it's going to lead you to. Because we know what you want. You want to be happy and peaceful and glad to be alive.
Even more than Doritos, that's what you really want.
What everybody wants is, what did it say before? Peace and safety.
Yeah.
Everybody wants peace and safety.
That's right.
And so if God is ever telling you, you have to do this and you have to not do that, guaranteed it is because the things that God is saying don't do will destroy your peace and safety. And the things that God is saying to do will create peace and safety for you. Because otherwise it's not benevolence.
And you would think that peace and safety, like what is more peaceful and more safe than just going through a couple of bags of snacks
this episode is sponsored by Doritos.
in your bed with the TV or something. Like it's great. Like nobody's bothering you.
Yeah.
You're like you could just lose yourself in some great show, binge watch it.
Do that for a little while.
It's just great.
But that's not.
I don't know how many people are eating while they're watching this episode. I'm sorry.
Do that for a while, but that's not the point. You're taking care. Sure, if you need to take care of your mind that way, do it. But what's the ultimate goal? It is to ultimately be useful to the human race.
Yeah, because I think of the example of Jesus, like he was headed very directly toward peace and joy. And how he got there was by wrangling with the leaders of society, angering people, infuriating evil spirits. He was in the thick of it and engaging with, he wasn't hanging around at home.
Right.
And that was actually a better route, even though it looks very counterintuitive. That's actually a better route to peace and safety.
Let's look at another analogy. And this is not me. Like, Swedenborg keeps giving us these analogies.
How
But
great.
this one is about the foundation of self-care
Okay.
that you need to have.
All right.
Another analogy is a person building a house. The person has to lay the foundation first, but the aim of the foundation has to be the house, and the aim of the house has to be living in it. Likewise, we each ought to see to our own interests first, yet not for our own sake, but to put ourselves in a position to serve our neighbor and therefore our country, the church, and above all, the Lord. If we believe we are our own neighbor first of all, we are like someone who regards the foundation rather than the house or residence in it as the ultimate purpose. Instead, living there is actually the first and ultimate purpose, and the house with its foundation is merely a means to that end. I mean, yep. This is just the bedrock of human psychology. It's like, or of angel psychology. You want to be an angel, just so you know, that's the order. Is angel, yep, foundation's great. It's got to be super solid, can't leak, can't have cracks in it. Do what you need to do there. And the point of that foundation is to support the living, which the living is the doing of good and the making a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed in there that it said that the analogy is with a person building a house. It didn't just say the analogy is with a house.
Interesting. Yeah.
Which was where I thought it was going to go. But it says with a person building a house, because the person building a house has a purpose. You know, what are you thinking? Well, I want to have this kind of house, and so I need this kind of foundation. And then, but the whole point is still not just to have the house and then look at it or post pictures of it online or something. The idea is, no, I want to live there. It's going to be beautiful. You got a view out this way of this, and here you got the gardens over there, and it's going to be great.
In conclusion on this section, building worldly resources can either contribute to our spiritual health or inhibit our spiritual health. This is Secrets of Heaven 6938 from volume 10 that just came out.
Look at that.
As it is, you know what? People might say, like, why are you plugging products on this show? Hi, we have to build the foundation, which is the Swedenborg, the not-for-profit Swedenborg Foundation, which if that thing does not have resources, we cannot then produce this programming. Like, if we could never talk at all about how we need donations or anything.
We can't,
and
live
it would
in this
just
house.
go away. It would go away. There wouldn't be this anymore. Or we would be doing this in our spare time. I think we still want, but we wouldn't be able to devote as much energy. It wouldn't be as good. It would be intermittent. We'd get busy with, like, you know, it's the same kind of thing.
That's great.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
That's right.
As it is with regard to wealth, so it is with regard to worldly prestige. Okay. So even prestige. It is perfectly allowable for us to secure our standing in the world, but only for our neighbor's sake rather than our own.
Whoa, yeah, that's interesting.
If we seek rank for our own sake, we are taking poor care of ourselves. But if we seek it for the sake of our neighbor, we are taking good care of ourselves. Those who make themselves the point of everything point themselves toward hell, while those who make their neighbor the point instead point themselves toward heaven. So
This guy's on his game today. That's man.
He just like bringing the hits, bringing the heat.
He must have given himself a good breakfast before he wrote that.
We're not trying to say, he had Wheaties. We're not trying to say, oh, if you're a spiritual person, you shouldn't try to become director of the institute of whatever you're working at.
Right.
Because you're spiritual. What are you trying to do having your...
The spiritual thing would be to just get a hair shirt and live in a cave.
That's right.
And pray.
No, because we need you to do that. Again, if I'm the guy with the can't use this leg, and you're going to become the director of the Institute for human mobility, and we need you there doing that. But what we need is two things. One, you can try to get that position, but if there's somebody else who would do a better job, you graciously accept that they should do it because they would do it better than you. Swedenborg actually explicitly lays that out other places.
Yep, that's right.
But the other thing is, the only reason why you'd be saying, not the only reason, the driving reason, the overall reason why you would say, I want to be in the directing that institute is because you think I would be able to make this thing more effective in providing its use. So if you're thinking that, it doesn't matter what you can try to want to be the president of the United States of America, whatever you want to do, if you think because I could solve these problems with that, that's you're being as spiritual as you can be. Go ahead,
right.
try as hard as you can. Know that it's going to be Providence that ultimately determines it, and accept what Providence gives you. But that's all. We're not saying don't go for it. We're just saying make sure you know why you're going for it.
It's so upside down from the way that the lower self thinks about these things, because basically the lower self thinks, look, I've got to get ahead in this world. And people have to know who I am. I have to like register in their brains or on their retina. I have to make an impression, or I have to, you know, just like stand out of the crowd or something. And to have Swedenborg say, yeah, but if you're doing that for yourself, you're doing a bad job of, you know, of that very thing that you're trying to do, you know. And yet, if you were saying, well, no, I want to get this because somebody's got to help this and that, and there's this cause, these people are hurting, somebody's got to do something, and so I'm the least person who could help, but somebody's got to do something, and so you step in and you try to get the skills and you try to put together the funding and all that to address something and help. That is actually a better way. Then you get respect and love, and that isn't even what you were going for, you know.
And Swedenborg saying this, given this diatribe here, this is not him as somebody who saying, well, all of you shouldn't do this. He did it wrong early in his life. He was doing, this sentence here, when he says that those who make themselves the point of everything point themselves toward hell, while those who make their neighbor the point instead point themselves towards heaven. He was pointing himself towards hell before, because he was doing all this, getting all these accolades, making all these discoveries, designing all these things for the sake of himself. And he knew this. And then when he had a spiritual awakening, that changed, and he saw the difference. So he was a high achiever, high powered person. He's not just saying you guys shouldn't. He's like, I've been there. I was doing it wrong. Now I'm trying to do it right.
Yeah, and had to make some pretty huge sacrifices in terms of his own reputation, becoming something of a laughing stock or a byword or a joke to some people.
Doing this crazy, talking about angels and stuff.
That's right.
So speaking of what you just were saying before about laying the it's all about me aside, you end up getting it's all about you, but in a different way. So human beings crave love.
Yes.
Generally.
Yep.
We want to be loved. You want to be loved. It feels good. You want a lot of it. And that's not an accident. That's not a flaw, a design flaw, or like you shouldn't. That's how you're supposed to be. And you're going to get it. You're going to get it. And you're going to get much more love than you ever even could give yourself. And it's going to come from God. So this is, there's a couple of Bible passages I want to give about that, which is interesting because when everyone goes to their near-death experiences and they're like, oh, the light was so much love for me. Like, yeah, you're going to get that. You know, seek first the kingdom of God. All these things will be added to you. Okay, so this is Matthew 5. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hidden. No one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under the bushel basket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. It's like, go ahead, like you shine. And then, this is my commandment, that you love one another. Yeah, you're supposed to do that. As I have loved you. Like, this is not, hey, just give up your desire to be loved, because that's weird and selfish. No, man, that's actually what it's all about. That is the purpose for which we were created, is to receive love and receive it from each other and from God. And you care for yourself, and you can try to love yourself to the extent you can. Where the real hit's going to come is going to be from other people and from God. That's where you're really going to have your cup running over.
And it seems like it's much more satisfying when it comes in that genuine way in response to useful things that you've done. Because if you're trying to build your own castle and have everybody say your castle is the best castle and is better than anybody else's castle, there's always a vulnerability that somebody's going to build a better castle, or somebody doesn't think your castle is that great, or part of it falls down because it wasn't built very well, or what. It's just, you're vulnerable. But actually getting that love that you just, okay, I'm not going to go for that anymore. I'm just going to try to be useful and take care of this thing. And then you get this love coming your way. Like it's so great. It just fills you up. The other, you can never get enough, right? I think that's part of what Swedenborg's saying, is if you got the self on the top, you can never get enough. He talks about the fact that people want to have, more power than anybody. Like they go insane with this, and they want to rule God. They want to be in charge of all, the heaven and hell and everything, and or they want all the money. Like they're never satisfied.
Is it the hedonic treadmill? Isn't that a concept where this is just talking about like having enough possessions and things, that it's a treadmill because, and I hope I'm doing this justice, it's a treadmill because getting the things, it's like the thing is in front of you and you keep walking toward it, but when you're not making progress, because when you get the thing, the feeling remains and you want the next thing.
And you want the next
and you look to who's then a tier above you. You move up and you're now richer and you move up there, but then you look at the people above you. And like, if you just think of like anyone that you wish you were, anybody that you wish you were, I wish I had this person's fame or wealth or something. That person, unless they're like in this love of the neighbor phase, they have other people they're looking at.
Absolutely.
They have other people that they're looking at, and they're like, I wish I had that. So it's a treadmill. To try to have yourself be the point of your life, I think it's the same kind of treadmill. You'll never
got a kind of an addictive cycle to it, doesn't it? Where you need more and more and more of the same thing to get to the same place, and it never quite works. So you keep doing it, but it doesn't have the results that you want.
I'm quite satisfied.
And when you go in the opposite direction, then anything that comes in just fills you up. Like, I never expected this. This is great.
You're talking about a Muppet Christmas Carol when Ebenezer Scrooge says, a gift for me, and he puts that little scarf on, and he could have bought 1 trillion of those, but given to him by Beaker. Great joy.
It's meaningful. That's right. Right. That's a perfect
So this is like, it's not your fault that you want love. Here's a little bit of the kind of love that God has for you. Secrets of Heaven. Since the Lord's face is mercy, peace, and everything good, it is clear that he never looks at anyone except with mercy, and never turns his face from anyone. It is we, when we are wrapped up in evil, who turn our faces away. Mercy, peace, and all that is good always operate in a compassionate manner, but the way we receive them depends on our state. So the love is like sitting there, but you got to get into the right state in order to receive it. Like I stand at the door and knock. So this is part of why we get these urgings or cajolings to act in a certain way, which here is to put these categories of love in the right order. And because if we do that, then we can start to feel the divine love.
And it's suddenly popping into my mind that I used sort of analogies there about self-indulgence. But isn't it also the case that you can be very self-centered and be beating yourself up all the time?
Two sides of the same coin.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, like you're still self-focused because it's just like, you're just mad at yourself and you're beating yourself up all the time. And yet, I love that phrase. I came across it again recently. It was, which of you by worrying can add 1 cubit to his stature? That's right. And the idea is like, and who by beating themselves up became a better person? You're just, the beatings will continue until morale improves.
Even in various forms of like therapy or psychological help or something, they'll say, what would you say to yourself if you were your friend?
Yes.
Or would you want someone to talk to you that way, the way you talk to yourself?
Yes,
yes. Is it okay for someone to talk to someone else the way you talk to yourself? That there is this sense of like through love is something that is shared, comes from someone to, like that. There's a part of just the way it works. It's ready to distribute.
So that what I think of as a New Age concept, I don't know if that's an accurate term, but that you're loving yourself is the basis of your loving others. And unless you've got this piece right, you're really not in a good place to be able to help others. It's not wrong, is it? I mean, you can. It depends so much on your purpose,
right?
But there is something about, if you're just devoting unbelievable energy to beating yourself up.
Well, you can't do that. You can't beat yourself up because, as I just said there, God is always compassionate. And Swedenborg elsewhere has this fascinating description of the difference between heaven and hell. So the difference between people who are in this angelic state and people who are in the opposite, where you love what's evil, and that heaven and hell influence you and can even like that's sort of where your thoughts and feelings come from.
Right.
And hell is always critical, and it's always trying to accuse, condemn, upset you. And heaven is always comforting and even overlooks your faults and
that's
these sorts of things.
Puts a good interpretation on it. There's some phrase in there about how hell esteems no one, and the Lord esteems everyone. So that esteem that's happening internally in your headspace, that's an important piece too. If it's just all tearing down, it's not coming from the best, most helpful place. There's absolutely a place for self-examination for moving forward in your life, but that's actually taking sort of a warmer, kinder look of like, okay, I've misstepped here, I did that wrong, and maybe you've done horrendous things,
right.
but you still, what good is beating yourself up about it? It's still, in a way, beating yourself up is like still saying, well, I'm in the place of God and I'm going to punish myself.
I guess it'd be like the purpose again. So if your mind is crashing down on you, trying to get you to feel bad about something, and the purpose is for you to suffer through feeling bad, that's not the purpose. That's not the point of life. That's not what it is to be an angel. If you're getting thoughts and the purpose is that you're going to amend your behavior or you're going to right some wrong that you can do, that's a different purpose. It's like with people who have a life review in a near-death experience.
Yeah.
There's a total moral component to it. You see and you feel how everything you did made everyone else feel.
That's right.
But nobody reports like I didn't want to have, like it's good, it's constructive, it realigns your values, it gives you a chance to approach life differently.
And it's just truth, real loving truth that helps you move forward.
So self-esteem, I think that a lot of people, when they talk about self-love, they're talking about self-esteem. Like how do you have a good sense of self-esteem? Because that can really drain you if you don't. If you're if you're feeling
you can your sense of yourself and your sense of yourself in the world can get really badly damaged. I mean, it's painful and hard.
So one way that can get addressed and healed is through I think we're designed to get some esteem from our connection to God. This is from Divine Love and Wisdom 47 and 48. Divine love and wisdom cannot fail to be and to be manifested in others that it has created. The hallmark of love is not loving ourselves, but loving others and being united to them through love. The hallmark of love is also being loved by others, because this is how we are united. So it's not just you're supposed to love other people.
You have to have the other end of it, or else it doesn't work. Yeah,
it's just as important to be loved back.
It's like one of those things when somebody's sitting in an audience and say, okay, everybody turn to your left. And everybody turns to their left. They're all facing the back of the other next person's head.
Truly, the essence of all love is to be found in union, in the life of love that we call joy, delight, pleasure, sweetness, blessedness, contentment, and happiness. The essence of love is that what is ours should belong to someone else. Feeling the joy of someone else as joy within ourselves, that is loving. If this is characteristic of all love, it must be supremely characteristic, infinitely characteristic of love itself, with a capital L. So we're talking about, it's not just saying, oh, you should, really love other people and then be loved in return. That's how God is. The divine intent is to love and be loved in return.
It's quite a different take to think of the Lord having an infinite desire to be loved, just because that is the reciprocal of all the love that's just constantly radiating. Yeah, that's powerful. It just, because you could think of, if you have that mental image of the Lord as the sun up in the sky, you could think the sun does not care whether I'm paying any attention, whether I care or not.
Indifferent deity.
It's completely indifferent. Yeah, we'll be there billions of years from now. It's just.
I think that, so if you, at the beginning of the show, I gave this maybe false dichotomy between religion and spirituality, where it's like religion would say, be good is what's important, to be good. And then there's some spirituality that would say, be loved. It's important to be loved. I think that what I'm hearing here is that both are important. Both are part of it. And that being good is how you open up to love. And also it's how other people receive the love they need. Because we all are dependent on the love we would get from each other. Sure, you build your foundation, but that's only it probably will be hard for that to fill you all the way up. And maybe it's just you and God can do it. But really, even there, you'd have to have you're feeling the love of God come into you, whether or not you're fully aware of and labeling it as that or not. But it's like to be good, because being good gives people the love they need, and it opens you up to the love that you need. You right?
Yeah, and Swedenborg's he's not about monasticism, or he's not somebody who thinks that you should go off by yourself. What I just heard in that quote that you read was that a lot of our joy, which is absolutely undeniably true, comes from our interactions with other people. A lot of our best moments are like where you're sharing this triumph or even sorrow or whatever it is.
You can, let's say you're a guy who wants to live out by himself on a farm, and he cultivates vegetables though, and he only sees people once a week when he goes into farmer's market and delivers the vegetables. Throughout the week, as he's tending his field and work, he can still be thinking about the good his food will do. I mean, that's still like an expression of that love. It's like, this family's going to want this. This person's going to need this,
Yeah. So-and-so said they really love those ones that are this shape or this type. And I think they're going to be happy when they see these this week.
So you're supposed to be you. You're supposed to be you. And you're supposed to feel like you are who you are. And the reason why you do, even though the life comes from God, everything, the reason you feel like you are who you are is because you're supposed to be happy in that. This is what Swedenborg says. This is Secrets of Heaven 155. The heavenly marriage is something that exists in our selfhood. So the uniting of goodness and truth, the love, the thing that makes happiness itself is something that happens in our selfhood. Moreover, it is because of the heavenly marriage that our selfhood, after being brought to life by the Lord, is called the Lord's bride and wife. When the Lord brings it to life, our sense of self gives us the ability to perceive all the good desired by love and all the truth taught by faith. So it holds within it all wisdom and understanding, joined to an indescribable happiness.
Yes, you would not get that without I think of it sometimes as being a folder or a vessel. You wouldn't get any of this without the folder. without the vessel. You need to have something, and yet the risk of having the folder or the vessel is that it will start to take itself too seriously, or, as we've talked about, compete with the other folders to be the best folder. And when it's just supposed to be part of this beautiful thing. I get a glimpse in my mind's eye every so often as we're doing this show of what the Lord is seeking in this whole heaven project that he's doing. And he's built it in such a way that the most satisfying thing is to do what's good for the large organism.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's where he's not going to give you ultimate satisfaction by just taking care of yourself off by yourself somewhere. You know? It's not going to do it. He's structured it in such a way. The closer you get to this thing, the more happiness there is in being part of this thing. So it's quite unimaginable to think about what it would be like to be in heaven, to feel so much love. The way he describes it, everybody in heaven knows who you are. You know who everybody is. You know, you're getting this love from all sides. You know, appreciation for the unique thing that you bring, and just being a humble part and feeling so thrilled that so-and-so got this and so-and-so got that. I'm so happy, you know? Yeah. And there's some new people, and the new people just came. It's great.
I feel like, hang on, when it says that our selfhood after being brought to life by the Lord is called the Lord's bride and wife. Like, you think about, you know, if you get married and it's like, well, it's because I want to spend my life with you, and I want to spend my life trying to make you happy.
Yeah.
That's the essence of that.
Yeah.
So that's what our ongoing relationship with God is like. The way that a husband could treasure a wife and want to try to make a good life for her. That's what God is wanting to do with our unique usness, like our sense.
Yes.
My sense that I'm Curtis and I'm living my life here and doing that. Like that is gonna, like, that God wants to dwell with that and continually make that happy forever.
Yeah.
You know? Like that's crazy, man.
That is crazy.
So it's not like I'm trying to erase your sense of self. It is brought to life. Like it has to get cleaned up. It has to, there's stuff in it that has to get freed from the sort of spiritual equivalent of diseases, which are these negativities, these evils and things. Yeah, sure, there's that. But the point of it is not just to be like eventually cast aside, but it's to get married to God, to be eternally, because Swedenborg talks about marriage as being an eternal thing. Like you can be married to someone forever. Like to him, so when he says it's like the bride and wife of God, this is like forever dwell together, God and your sense of who you are. You know, like that's really something.
That's really something. And the reciprocal is implied in there too, which again, if you picture the divine as just this blasting sun up in the sky, which is an image that Swedenborg often gives, but he says that doesn't do the whole job. If you realize, no, it's personal, it's somebody you're interacting with, somebody you have a relationship with, that you're also really wanting to please that other party. You want to please the Lord. Mm. You want to think about ways, I think this would make the Lord happy, or I think, right?
Well,
if it's a relationship, that's what you're both thinking about.
Well, didn't say earlier, what's the point of the mind? I'm here. Like, what can I do for you?
And it's such a nice thought that the Lord, it's certainly a thought that you experience as a parent, a grandparent, that you see people doing these things you never imagined they would do. And it's like, it's so exciting to see, wow, they have this skill, they have this ability. And you think about the Lord just sort of rejoicing in our uniqueness. Mm-hmm. Like, you have no idea. You're so great. Yeah.
Last number for this podcast, Secrets of Heaven 252. The heavenly marriage is a relationship in which heaven, and so the church, which is the condition of heaven in people in the world,
yep,
is united to the Lord through its sense of self. In fact, Heaven and the church are to be found in the feeling of independent existence, because without it, there could never be union. When the Lord in his mercy infuses our selfhood with innocence, peace, and goodness, it still seems to be our own, but it becomes heavenly and full of the greatest blessings.
There it is again. Yeah, so I can kind of see why hell would want to attack that. If that's really fundamental to the whole heaven project, I can see why hell would want to get it one way or another. Either, okay, well, let's push you in the direction of, narcissism or excessive competition with other people, or beating yourself up. That's fine, sure, whatever it is, but just let's try to hack this self thing, because the self thing is a really important part, vulnerable part, but a very important part of this whole project.
Yeah, that's right. You should feel glad to be who you are, because that's the thing that is meant to be made happy forever.
That's the foundation of this whole structure.
Yeah, man. And that would include that you have the life that you have and everything. And I feel like if you're talking about like what's hell and what's trying to destroy that, well, just look at like what are the characteristics that the Lord infuses into the selfhood that make it heavenly. Innocence, peace, and goodness. So hell is trying to destroy your sense of innocence, which is just like, I'll be led by the Lord through things. Peace, which we know what peace is, to be at peace. And I think of Swedenborg's quote, peace holds within it confidence in the Lord, that he provides all things, directs all things, provides all things, and leads to a good end. That's the only way you can actually have peace, is if you believe in that.
Yeah.
And then goodness. So innocence, peace, and goodness. Infuse that into you, then your sense of self becomes heavenly and full of the greatest blessings. So that would be that's characteristic of being an angel, is that you have a sense of innocence, which is that God's, I'm willing to be led where God wants me to go. Peace is I trust that God is doing that leading. And
it has that word safety, wasn't it linked before with safety?
That's right.
Like, I'm going to be okay. I'm going
to be okay.
I fundamentally am is not going to be damaged by anything that happens.
And goodness, which the goodness is like, do what's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's that, man.
All right.
That's not so bad.
No.
I feel like that's actionable. We can go out and do that. Hopefully all of you got a good sense here of some concrete steps to having that heavenly selfhood, which is the same thing as becoming an angel, and knowing that part of it is getting this caring for yourself, your loving yourself thing in the right order, which is just simply like do everything you need to do for yourself with eyes on the prize, which the prize is that you want to be of service to the greater good.
Yeah.
That's doable, man. We can do that. Again, if you enjoyed anything today, this all comes out of the Secrets of Heaven, Volume 10, which we've painstakingly, Jonathan and his team have labored over providing a fresh, accessible translation of this.
It's
all
such
proceeds
a pleasure.
benefit the not-for-profit Swedenborg Foundation. Jonathan, thank you so much for your insights, and it was so fun talking with you about this.
It was great. I've got some action items going forward out of this session. It's really good.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody, for watching.